When I was a kid, I felt machines were more reliable than people, and I decided I wanted to be an engineer, and so that's what I did. I did a training in the car industry of all places.
I used to have a career in a corporate environment, and I used to have lots of spare time and spare money, and I lived in a place where there was a trance scene, and so I used to go to parties, and there came a point, I guess, when I just found out something changed in me, and I was looking for more, and I was searching for more, but I didn't know what, and then a massive change happened in my life.
When I was 12, I had dreams where two specific ancestors came to me and said in me was the knowledge of my forefathers, and you came to make it live twice. And however weird that sounds, like, that's sort of what I do.
I landed in a magnificent midlife crisis at the very classic late 30s, going into 40. I managed to get the business taken over. I ran to a place I couldn't go anymore. I had to stop. I managed to get the place taken over so that it continued okay, and I set out to repair myself, quite literally, through all sorts, through psychotherapy type experiences and yoga and things like that. And circumstances led me to San Francisco.
In a space of 1 week, I ended a 6.5-year relationship that really wasn't very healthy, and went away for the weekend to kind of get myself together. And while I was away, he phoned and said, "Oh, your house has just been broken into," and I was like, "Well," so in 1 week I had the loss of all my dreams. I had the loss of the sense of security at home, and then the day I got back, I found my mum had gone into a coma really unexpectedly, and she died 2 days later. And I was with her when they put the machines off, and she died. And so in 8 days, everything that was my life didn't exist anymore.
Originally, when I was like young, me grandma and my parents just thought I was well off the wall, as you can imagine. And "You'll bring the devil up, you'll bring the devil up." Will I? Oh good. You know, they say things like that. "You'll bring the devil up in your bedroom." And when people were going out doing stuff and like they were playing football and all that, I had like altars set up in my bedroom, and they thought I was fucking loopy.
In San Francisco, you can do workshops on just about anything at almost any time of day. So I was a workshop junkie. And then that culminated in starting a degree course, MA in Holistic Psychology.
Got rid of all my possessions, left my career, got rid of everything, stripped down just to me, to see who I was, and went off travelling. And part of that was ending up going back to South Africa and going on a vision quest. This is an 11-day process, and you have some preparation, and then you have 4 days and nights fasting alone in the wilderness, and crying for a vision of your life. And during that, I found I was going to be a healer. I had my first contact with spirits.
Power and knowledge and luck is passed down through family lines over time. So I think what I found is it's remembering. I think a lot of the time I remember, I experience, and then when I've done it, I remember. And it's like, yeah, right, yeah, I remember that. That's good. And I think that's what people are doing now, like, they're remembering. People are remembering what's in there. It's in there already, because I mean, originally they said, in you is the knowledge of your forefathers. You know, it's time to, can you remember it? You know, do something with it.
I came back to England and I set up to do play, dance, drama, daft games, voice, a whole mixture of things to free the spirit, liberate the magical child. And over a few years, quite spontaneously, it became more and more shamanic until it was. An experience of timelessness, of different reality, of alternate reality, of magic moments, we can call them. And we've all had them. We have them as kids.
For me, a shamanic experience would be about being in an altered state of awareness where you can access other realities and then bring the information and healing back here for yourself or for the land, for other people.
It's a good metaphor is the dance, because in the dance we start off with our usual ego stuff, shyness, inhibition, bravado, showing off, all that sort of thing, and get past that. The dance and the dancer become one. A little further and the dance dances the dancer, and in the ultimate, the dancer oneself disappears and only dancing is left. And it's that place, the place where oneself disappears. Happiness is something, the deepest happiness is something we know we just had.
I've just done a workshop this morning, and the sort of initial workshop is, we always start off in the forest that covered this land, and then down the forest is a pathway that's been trod by Saith folk who've travelled the distance over thousands of years, and you carry on down the pathway a long way right through the forest, and you get to a massive yew grove. As you get there, everything gets older, and in the middle's the world tree, Yggdrasil or Irminsul, whichever name you want to choose, both mean the same thing really. And then from there, like, you can journey down to Helheim, Svartalfheim, or above to Ljosalfheim or Asgard. And then there's like different places as you move out through the forest. There's a few places out in the forest that you can get to, various different places you can journey to just by travelling out through the forest, you know, without even going up the tree or down the tree. And what I usually start off with is to teach people to journey to what's called a Frithgarth. And originally a Frithgarth was an area of land or, you know, outside that was set aside as a kind of place of peace, in a way, a harmony of peace. And people would go there. It might be around some sacred stones or a river or a well or some trees or something, a grove, and then no one would have any trouble there. You had to take your shoes off, put your weapons outside, you couldn't fight, go to the bog in there, anything like that. And it was like a peaceful place within a really sort of harsh climate, you know, when tribes and people were fighting. Because as you get deeper and deeper, it gets more involved and more intense, and there are places like, usually when people are starting off, they don't go to these places, but when you go looking for bits of souls and things like that, you can go to some really dark and full on, like, intense places, you know. So it's nice for people, just in case, to start off in a safe space, really.
Being in a place where I can move out of my head and out of my ego and out of the identity that makes me think that I am this body and this personality and these thoughts and feelings, into who I really am, which is spirit. And in that place, know that there isn't any separation between me and anything else, and that there is God, whether you want to call it divine force or creative force or God or creator, doesn't matter, but that there is that force and that I am it. It's in me and it flows through everything.